Thank you to Squarespace for sponsoring this video. Stick around to find out more about how Squarespace can help you build up your online presence. Hello Ragers, I hope that you're all doing well. Now, memes have been a key component of fashion culture for quite some time, whether they serve to offer up a sophisticated, intricate, nuanced critique of the current fashion landscape, or they just feature a lot of funny words and references to brands that I know in a giant wall of text. As time has gone on and as more and more people have discovered cool archive rare quality reps core clothing, this often leads to them subsequently falling down the fashion meme pipeline. Hence, since my legacy pertains to creating accursed funny heart shoe wojacks, and a lot of time has gone by since my last video about fashion memes, I figured that in today's video we should explore some of the most important fashion memes of previous generations, explain the current landscape, and ultimately figure out if there is hope for the future of the sacred art form that is the fashion meme, or if they're dead and oversaturated. Basically, I've chosen some hand-picked examples of notable fashion memes throughout history, and wanted to go over how they've changed over time. Whether you're a real OG of this fashion meme stuff and served in the /FA and r/male fashion advice wars, and are nostalgic about fantasizing over Eddie Slimane Dior Men 2007 twinks, or perhaps you're more of a new gen who is keen on learning the ways of the old. Either way, make sure to stick around because we'll be analyzing this truly interesting phenomenon after a quick word from today's sponsor, Squarespace. Squarespace is a highly accessible, easy-to-navigate website building platform with a little bit of something for everyone. Squarespace provides a streamlined way for one to set up an online store, blog, portfolio, and much more. When combined with the Squarespace Video Studio app, which allows users to further express themselves and turn their ideas into reality, this subsequently results in you being able to create engaging, marketable content that you can use to grow your audience. The plethora of templates that Squarespace offers makes it very easy for all users to start creating and then promoting all forms of content with regard to creative or business-related endeavors. Squarespace is certainly a highly useful tool for creators, so go check out squarespace.com for a free trial, and when you're all ready, head to squarespace.com/FHTV for 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain using code FHTV, link in the description. And now, let's get back to the video. First and foremost, obviously some of these memes are pretty normie and have been talked about and reposted hundreds of times, but I feel as if they are important to the history of fashion memes and help provide context for many of the memes that we see today. And speaking of context, like pre-2014 until around the hypebeast era of Life of Pablo r/streetwear explosion in 2016, /FA and male fashion advice were sort of the main boards for discussing fashion, KTT and r/streetwear too, but we'll get into that a little bit later. Basically, despite both being made up of awkward versions and echo chambers of their own regard, FA and MFA have been known to be frequently at odds with one another, FA often being more edgy and brutally honest with their critiques, and MFA being more do whatever makes you happy in typical Reddit fashion. FA was much more of a niche community and more dedicated, so it served as sort of a vocal minority sometimes and opposed the more easily accessible Reddit, with MFA at the time in like 2012 already having over 200,000 members. Each forum posted their own style guides that reflected the given taste of each board, and as you can tell by the various FA meetups, there were truly some real tastemakers here. But you guys can laugh all you want, they knew about Rick Owens before Destroy Lonely rapped about it. But alas, the tastemakers and interactions had on these boards of course led to a lot of memes. Around 2014-2015, many iterations of the I wish I was at home meme format were created by both forums, which would inadvertently contribute to the resurgence of this meme format in 2020. Obviously the ones posted on FA, MFA, and r/streetwear were all fashion oriented. FA would often proclaim their fondness for twinkish males in their versions, as well as Rick Owens and various other tropes associated with fashion elitists. If you want more examples, thankfully there is a historic mega thread of over 1,000 fashion memes that were compiled in 2016. This essentially serves as the grand archives, a real time capsule of cringe that perfectly sums up the sentiments at the time. I'll link it below, and it's definitely a funny piece of fashion meme history, and something I've referenced time and time again. Someone could easily make an hour-long video dedicated to just this album alone. Some more notable and influential memes that spawned during this time period pertain to the fashion circles of hell. Pretty self-explanatory, and I've referenced this one before as well. Basically, the more your fashion knowledge and credit card debt grows, the further you spiral into the depths of fashion lore hell. Referencing, of course, Dante's Inferno, this is basically a fashion iceberg before the iceberg format was really a thing. There is a fashion iceberg too, but the things included on it are pretty laughable. Even the lowest tiers are like surface level garbage that can be found with one Google search. Whoa guys, artisanal Margiela, holy crap, this is so obscure. I must gatekeep the most influential designer of the past millennium. And of course, it would be a crime against humanity if I didn't mention geobaskets. In this time period as well, we saw some of the first fashion Instagram meme pages spawn up, specifically Veta Memes and his subsequent creation of the GeoBasket account, which people are still commenting on to this day. If you were there in 2019, I'm sure you remember the comment sections of fashion meme pages being flooded with GeoBasket comments, as well as Heart You Bad, Rick Good, Velon Bad, and so on. With regard to r/streetwear in this era, around 2016-2017 was when I would say it was at its peak. Guys like Magnus, Avery, Sanjeev, and the like influenced a lot of the humor and tastes at the time. Same with PAQ, Fashion Bros, and Failing Upwards, which is now Throwing Fits, obviously. And of course, Franelations being the OG GOAT, a true inspiration to all. The New York City crew like Ass Pizza, Mike the Ruler, Luca, and all of them all started making names for themselves. And of course, along that spectrum too, we had hypebeast YouTubers that were going around like Ari Petro, Blazendary, Kais Omar, which all made for a lot of laughs. The memes posted on r/streetwear were definitely a lot more accessible, like haha, look at this outfit, or look at how wacky and silly and relatable this is, as opposed to the more niche content posted on FA. Starter packs became very popular during this era too, as they were an easy way to include a variety of references in one image. Transitioning more to Instagram now, 2018 to like late 2020 was probably the height of fashion memes on Instagram, or at least from my point of view. We did love our Wojak funny shoe, funny shirt, funny reference posts. I do feel partially responsible for ruining the lives of many and corrupting a generation of fashion enthusiasts, but it was pretty funny, so I think it was worth it. It obviously wasn't something to be taken seriously, but a lot of people I think looked into it a little too much. But there have been many viral fashion memes to come out of this era, and it definitely influenced the greater meme landscape as a whole. Since then, there's been quite a big transition into fashion memes, silly TikTok content with the rise of the short-form video ADHD brain meta. I don't follow TikTok creators too closely, but whenever a fashion-related video comes up on my For You page, my neurons activate and I immediately type out a hate-filled comment. I'm mostly kidding. TikTok content certainly allows for a lot more in terms of flexibility. You can use funny songs, funny effects, and even duet others, which provides much more opportunities than a still Wojak image on Instagram. A lot of the jokes are rehashed, but this is nothing new. It's been going on since before 2014. And obviously, as newer generations are having their minds corrupted by funny Rick Owens and archive clothing, they're bound to go through the same stages that we all did at some point. With regard to the current and future fashion meme landscape, I think there will always be a space for fashion memes as long as clothing exists. Obviously, the formats and content will change given the current trends, metas, and state of fashion as a whole, but people always find a way to meme on even the most mundane of occurrences. With big brands like Balenciaga embracing meme culture and counterculture as a whole, it's sort of brought about a weird paradigm. Memes typically serve as a form of critique and counterculture themselves, so it's harder to meme something that is already a meme. From this, we arrive at the current state of the game, which involves many layers of irony and meta-commentary, which is obviously very convoluted and nuanced, but given the past and history of memes that we've discussed, one can certainly see how we've arrived at this point. When I made the decision to come back to YouTube and Instagram, a lot of people asked what I was going to do, and they expressed that they thought fashion memes were more or less dead, and when considering this notion, I think it personally comes down to the individual. I often find myself caring a little too much about stuff I'm passionate about, which just so happens to be providing my Reddit voice commentary about silly little garments and then uploading it to you people on my computer. I think once Demna's finally had enough of irony and trolling, hopefully we'll get back to seeing some real beautiful stuff. But again, obviously everything is a cycle. People fried their brains during 2020 and 2021 and have sunken deeper into the levels of irony, which results in the current landscape of today. Anyway, I think that's pretty much it. We covered some iconic memes from the past, discussed the rise of fashion memes, and I provided my opinion on the current and future landscape of things, which was obviously the most important part. And with that being said, thank you for watching and let me know your thoughts down below. Later, Ragers.